Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Budget Auto. I'm Nate. Today I'm coming to you from the beautiful state of Idaho. That's right, we took a road trip last night of about 250 miles after work through Yellowstone National Park over on into Blackfoot, Idaho. And what a gorgeous day it is outside. It is absolutely beautiful. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, I'm just a guy that loves cars and trucks. I'm learning about them, and I want to share my experiences with you guys, my adventures, and I want to help you learn how to save money and save time with your own personal vehicle ownership experience. This is my 2004 F150 Fx4, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about it. So being that today we are in Idaho and that I am finished with my 1999 Audi A8 project car, at least with the major repairs, I decided that it was time that I do another video on my 2004 F150 Fx4 because I don't think that I've featured this truck on the channel for quite a while. So this is going to be my 175,000 mile update with the Fx4. I've driven this car just over 25,000 miles since I bought it 2.5 years ago, and I haven't done an update on this truck for about at least 5,000 miles. So I thought now would be a good time to kind of do an update on the vehicle, let you guys know what I've done to it, what's happened in the past 5,000 miles, and kind of my feelings and my thoughts and future plans for the truck as always. So here we go. So when I say that I haven't done an update on the Fx4 in 5,000 miles, I should really specify that I haven't done an update on the Fx4 in the last 10,000 miles. The last time I really talked about this truck, I think it had 162,000 miles on it. So I'm going to go ahead and link that video right up here for you guys to check out, but that video kind of shows my 17,000 miles experience in this pickup truck, kind of my thoughts, my feelings about it, what I don't like about it, any reliability issues that I've experienced, and then some modifications or stuff that I've done to the truck. In today's video, I'm going to briefly go over everything from that video to now that's happened in the lifespan of this Fx4. So it's been about another 10,000 miles-ish or so since I've done that video. So go ahead and check that out and then come back to this video if you haven't seen it. But I haven't featured this truck on the channel for the last 5,000 miles. My last video was a month ago on this truck, and it was an oil change. Funny enough, we're back at another oil change interval, so I guess I have featured this truck in the last 3,000 miles on the channel, but I've driven it 3,000 miles since May, and it's now the middle of June. So anyway, the last 5,000 to 3,000 miles have been absolutely pretty much uneventful as far as owning this pickup truck. While I was working on the Audi, I've been using this as my daily driver, so I've been kind of racking up the miles on it. I'm doing about 3,000 a month, which is absolutely too many, so I'm happy to have the car finally done, out of the garage and driving. That way we quit putting so many miles on the Fx4. But I do have to say that I am grateful in a way for rolling over to 175,000 miles, because the pickup truck's really not going to go down in value again until I hit about 180, 185, or even 190,000 miles. So I'm not super worried now about how many miles I put on the truck. Plus, it's been pretty reliable so far. It's hit high miles, and so now I'm just going to have to live with it. So that's an update on the mileage on the Fx4. Now I'm going to go ahead and just kind of go over the truck, show you guys the body. I'm going to let you know what I've done to it, and then I'm going to let you know my future plans for the pickup truck. So remember, I just drove it 250 miles last night. We got in at 12 o'clock. So the truck is very dirty right now, and I apologize for that. So here's the Fx4, the truck body. You can see I still have the stock rim. I actually still have the tires that I bought the truck with on it. They're not the best snow tires or anything, but they do allow the truck to get pretty good gas mileage because they're pretty much just road tires at the moment. I've absolutely loved having the cover on the back. The cover needs redone. Unfortunately, the seal at the very back started to leak and has gone out. So every time it rains, the bed gets filled with water anywhere I drive it, especially on dirt roads, which I live on dirt roads, as you can see here with how dirty the pickup is. It fills my bed full of dust and full of dirt and grime, so I'm constantly washing it with the outside of the truck, which is fine. I just don't want to have to constantly open up the bed, wash it, and then dry it out every time I drive this vehicle. So of course I put my ranch hand on it when I bought the truck brand new. And something new for you guys is I got my light bar installed, which is also very dirty, but I absolutely love this thing. I'm going to do a video on it here shortly. I've shown it in a couple clips in the past, the difference that it makes when I'm going down the highway. But this is a great addition to a pickup truck, and I don't think it looks that bad on the front of it. I'm not a huge fan of putting them across the top of vehicles. I do think that's probably the best spot for it. That's somewhere it's going to work out very, very well. But I don't like how it looks, so I've kind of hidden mine in the grill here where you can't really see it. It's tucked away, and it's still very, very useful, which I love very, very much. Of course, I have LEDs in the headlights, I have LEDs in my fog lights, and unfortunately, I still have not fixed my blinker light switch, high-low beam switch on the truck. So I'm still only running with low beams, I think, or something in between the two. I'm not really sure, but I probably should look into that. Like I said, I've gone 25,000 miles like that, and I actually drive at night a lot, so it's not a huge deal, but it's super inconvenient and it's just not good. So besides putting the light bar on, I haven't done any modifications to the truck since I bought it. I haven't even put new tires on. Now, for plans coming up with this truck, I do actually have quite a few, because unfortunately I've let the body maintenance get out of hand, in the sense that I'm having lots of little paint chips and speckles. This paint chip's been on it since I bought it. It wasn't rusty, however, and now it is getting rusty, so I need to do something about these paint chips and speckles before I start losing my paint entirely. And actually, if you look here at my front bumper, because I didn't do a good job this winter getting the salt off, my bumper is now speckled. So if I could go back and do this again, when I first bought the truck, this bumper was in pristine condition. I should have wrapped it with PPF or done a clear coat or something over it, so when those rocks hit and the salt's up there, it wouldn't damage the paint. But since I didn't, I'm left to live with all these little speckles. So I may be taking this off soon. I don't know, more to come. Another thing that I'm noticing, and that's getting really irritating to me, is this 15-year-old plastic on the truck has become very, very sun faded in just a short amount of time. You can tell somebody's resealed it before with Back to Black, and it really hasn't been this bad up until recently. So I'm going to go ahead and get some vinyl paint, and I'm going to repaint these vinyl or these plastic strips all around the bed of my truck and anywhere else that I think might need it. I'm going to go ahead and then put them back on and then seal it with a clear coat or some Back to Black or something, so this stuff stays in really good, perfect condition. I think the sun was in your eyes over there, but here's the cowl as well. It's actually kind of pulling apart here in the center, but same deal, it's turned very light gray instead of black, and so I'm going to have to redo this, get it back to black. I priced a cowl, and surprisingly, all of these little pieces here come out to be about $250 just for plastic with holes in it. So I'm first going to try to fix mine. If I can't do that, then I'm going to have to bite the bullet and buy some. Another boo-boo I made was pressure washing this truck too close to the mirrors, and I knocked my fake chrome plastic cover off these. So I am going to put new chrome covers on the mirrors. I thought about doing black, but if I did black, I would have to change out my door handles as well to match, and since I have the chrome running board, I'm just going to go ahead and do new chrome on the mirrors. That way we can really spice up maybe how the outside of the truck looks. We'll get everything back to its semi-new condition in a sense. I'm all about keeping everything stock. Yes, I'll put a grill guard on the truck, but that's because I drive around a ton of wildlife at night, and if I messed up the front end of my truck, it'd be about $2 to $3,000 or $4,000 to have to go through and redo everything again at a body shop, which you guys know I'm not good at and I don't do. Hence the $800 grill guard. Hit anything in that and I'll be absolutely fine. It's kind of insurance protection against my truck. I'll simply be repainting the grill guard instead of redoing my whole smashed in front end. Another plan that I have for this truck is getting new tires here at the end of the summer. My dad suggested that I buy new rims and that I put new winter or heavy duty all season tires on the different set of rims. That way I can continue to use these as road tires in the summer because they're actually not terrible. But the reason for that being is that these tires are going to get way better gas mileage than a heavy duty winter or all-terrain or all-season tire, simply because the tread on these tires isn't as aggressive as the tread is going to be on a winter tire or an all-season tire. And so I'm not going to average a whole ton better, but it's going to be like a mile or 2 miles to the gallon better. So these are going to stay on in the summer until they're completely worn out. But as you know, this is a Ford and these are road tires and they don't mix in the winter time at all. And then finally, kind of my last plan for this truck, at least in the near future, is getting a new bed cover. I've thought about taking this one off and completely resealing it because it's still in pretty good shape. Simply, I've lost the seal here in the back. I've noticed that it's starting to come up around the edges as well. And I think that I've maybe lost some of the sealant or sealing here as well, because there's starting to be a few little gaps that I'm not super excited about or super happy with. So I may be replacing the bed cover in the near future as well. Now, I priced these and they're not actually that expensive, so if you don't have one, go and pick one up. They cost anywhere from $200 to $400, but I think you can get a good one for around $250, maybe $300. And they protect everything in your bed when you're traveling. They keep your bed clean. Not mine because it's not sealed up, but they keep your bed clean, and they improve your gas mileage because they significantly improve your aerodynamics from the wind flow coming down and swirling off the back end instead of coming down and getting caught on your tailgate. So if you don't have one of these, put one of these on your truck. I highly recommend it. Just don't put a leaky one on. Another plan that I suppose I have for this truck in the near future is cleaning it because it is very dirty at the moment. But a plan I have that's probably not going to happen so much in the near future is putting a new double din radio in that's an actual screen, touch screen, and will allow me to install a backup camera in the rear tailgate, which is something that I've wanted to do for quite a while. And if I keep this truck for much longer, I'm definitely going to put one in because it's simply too tall to see accurately out the back. Now, you do get very good at backing up in this truck. You get very used to it in parking lots, etc. But that's just an added safety feature. It significantly increases the value of the pickup, and that's something that I want to do here in the future. I don't do it yet, one, because it's expensive. For me to do all that, it's going to be about $300–400. And two, I also love my 6 CD disc changer that comes stock with Ford, and I also love how this radio meshes with the subwoofer and the Ford audiophile system that's in this truck. Speaking of the subwoofer, I have noticed some lower end rattles, and it's just not quite as there as it used to be. Now that's expected. It's 15 years old. I've thought about replacing it. I looked a year ago, a stock unit to put in was about $1,200, and now I've looked again, and it seems like I can get a used one for around $150–200. But I think I might actually take mine apart to see if I can't figure out where the rattle's coming from and see if I can't dampen it somehow. Because I love music, I love listening to music, and that gets annoying after a while. So thank you guys for watching today's video. This has been an update on my 2004 F150 Fx4. It's been somewhat uneventful in the last 5,000 miles, but as you can see, I've got big plans for this truck. I want to make everything kind of look not as old as it's getting right now. I think this truck was garage kept when I bought it. It was absolutely in pristine condition. It was 13 years old. It's now 15 years old. And 2 years of old plastic and vinyl sitting out in the sun has really kind of shown through on this truck. If it was in cleaner condition, it would look a lot better. It still looks pretty new. That's something that I love about these F-150s is they fool people, or they look a lot newer than they really are. Now mine's a 2004. It's the first generation of this body style, but I get people that ask me all the time if this is a 2013 or 2015. And I mean, obviously they're not people that really know cars or not people that really know trucks, but if you want something on a budget that looks really, really good, that people are going to think is really, really new, find one of these older trucks with low miles on it that's been kept really, really well. And I know that's saying a lot. I know that that's hard to come by, but it's very, very doable. I kind of ran into this on accident, and it was about $1,500 out of my budget, but I had to go with it simply because it doesn't come very often, and that's something that I wasn't going to find again, so I jumped on it. I was a little bit uncomfortable at first buying a Ford because, as you know, I'm a Chevy guy. My family are all Chevy guys. And I also bought the first generation year of the 5.4 liter 3-valve Triton, which I do not recommend in the slightest. Stay away from the 2004 F-150. I think you're safe with the 2007 and up. Definitely go and do your research, but that's a much, much better year and a much more solid engine. This truck, as I'll talk about in another video and as I've talked about in previous videos, has about a dozen recalls on it from the factory, and the engine actually tends to be a little bit finicky, but this one I've really lucked out on. And so I'm not saying entirely 100% stay away from them, but stay away from the first generation years of any vehicle. They typically have some issues and have some problems that you're going to want to avoid, or if you do have one like I do, you're going to want to be very aware of those problems, know when you need to fix them and when you need to do some preventative maintenance in that regard, or at least be prepared for when something does go out. I mean, the heads in this truck are eventually going to die and going to leave me stranded somewhere, and there's not much I can do about it. So again, as you can see, I have some big plans for this truck, so stay tuned. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, especially if you want to learn how to restore old vinyl and old plastics, if you want to learn how to install a cover on the back of your bed, and eventually if you want to learn how to redo your radio on your F-150 and install a backup camera in one of these older pickup trucks. Again, I'm Nate with Budget Auto. Thank you guys for watching. Like this video if you liked it, and I'll catch you in the next one.